Hello, everyone. My name is Jeremiah Garcia, and I'm the CEO of Garcia Enterprises, LLC. I am being joined by Ken Gehosky, the assistant principal at New Cumberland in Pennsylvania, also with Danita Rizzardo, who is the Dean of Students at New Cumberland Middle School. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So the first question for you, Ken, is how has restorative practices impacted your program?
Well, when I arrived here, in the middle school, I discovered very quickly that a lot of students struggled with communicating with each other and just resolving, personality disputes, even just among their friend groups or with students they were struggling to get along with. And they didn't have the language to communicate with one another. They would try to take matters into their own hands, and it often ended badly. And so what I began to do quickly was to, bring in some restorative conversations with students and bring students together in small group settings and ask them the questions that we learned when we were trained in restorative practices to describe what happened and how they were feeling and what they thought when it happened, and sort of kind of maintain that very systematic approach to having those conversations. And it didn't take long for students to seek out those conversations, and they would come to me, and as Danita came on board, the same thing, because she's also trained, and students would come to her as well to, hey, I need a restorative, I need to have a conversation, I'm having trouble with this, and I need some help. And it began to replace some really unruly student behavior.
Thank you. Danita, what do you like most about restorative practices?
The results.
Okay.
And the students will see me not as someone just doling out discipline, but that relationship and that connection. So it creates a relationship and connection. So the next time I have to talk to these students, they realize, I'm not just about to give them a detention. I'm not just about to do this or do that. We're going to have a conversation first. We're going to talk, right? Sometimes we're going to pull in other people. An example of this was my first week here, a whole group of boys in the cafeteria, loud, just touching each other, taking each other's food. Like it was huge and big. And the behavior was just so over the top. And this was my first week. So I decided to take them all and bring them into a circle so we could talk about this behavior, right? And so at first it's, well, am I in trouble? Am I in trouble? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? You're not in trouble. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about this behavior. We're gonna sit in a circle. So we did a restorative circle, and it's hard to teach 8th grade boys to sit in a circle and wait for one person to talk and only talk and respect the totem. And it's a challenge. And I can't say that circle was beautiful, but they'll ask me, hey, when are we going to do that again? When are we going to do that again? And the behavior in the cafeteria, so much better. And I can tell you, if I had given every single one of them his attention, it would not have been the same.
Nothing would have changed.
No. Nothing would have been changed.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Ken, how has restorative practices impacted you personally?
Well, like Danita said, it really improves my relationships with students, that they don't see me as the guy who's going to punish them, but that someone that they can trust, someone that they can, relate to and confide in, perhaps. And so it allows me to initiate conversations with students who do need some redirection in their approach to school, whether struggling, with, behavior in classes or getting their work done. And I'm someone that they'll listen to. They're not going to just kind of shut me down or turn me off or ignore me, because I've taken the time to build that relationship with them through some of these restorative conversations. And so it really, has improved my relationships with students. It's pretty effective.
Danita, how has it impacted you?
I like working with kids more. It is so much nicer to have a restorative conversation then lecture a kid, then talk down to a kid, then say this, why aren't you doing this? And why aren't you, and talking in that tone of voice that just crushes a child. Like, it's just, it makes you, makes you like children more. And so it makes me feel better, like, about my job and myself. So if we're gonna really, I mean, talk about, like, bring it to me and what it means to me, like, it feels better. But then also, you know, I really do like kids, and the reason why I do this job is because I enjoy meeting them and helping them and figuring out problems with them and making them be the best versions of themselves. So that's what this does. It helps make a kid be the best version of themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
So what would you say, this for either you, Ken, or for you, Danita, what has this restorative journey been like since you started after the training?
Well, I mean, it is a practice. You know, it's something that you apply it and it doesn't go the way you think it's going to go, but you have to come back at it again. And it is challenging sometimes. And it's scary sometimes, you know, to have bringing students together who maybe don't like each other very much, or, you know, even harder really is learning to talk to teachers too, about how teachers talk to students. And that's kind of that's the struggle that we're both kind of having right now, is that we know how we can relate to students and enjoy our relationships with students. And we want to bring that to our faculty so they can experience that relationship building that we know is possible, and enjoy relating to students in a different way. And that's the hardest part, you know, that students in our classrooms are coming out of their classrooms feeling demeaned, they're feeling put down, they're feeling like they don't belong in that classroom. And so then teaching the teacher how to have those conversations and utilize those effective statements, you know, and try and do what we're doing when we're talking to students. And I think that the teachers would enjoy their jobs more. The students would enjoy their time in class with those teachers better. And so we're the journey that we're on, that I'm on here, is I have a long way to go in bringing these practices to New Cumberland Middle School. There's the big missing piece is we have to get our whole faculty trained in practicing these restorative conversations. And yeah, that's why I reached out to you.
Outstanding. How about you, Danita?
Oh, the question is the journey.
Yes. How is your journey?
Yeah.
Your journey.
So I'm really enjoying. So since I've got this position, which I've only been in for 3 weeks, I've been enjoying. I mean, I used to use it in my classroom, right? It was effective statements. Yes, is that what they are? Affective statements.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So I use them regularly as a teacher all the time, and so they were just part of my vocabulary. It was easy. I'm enjoying using it in a casting a wider net, right? So working with a whole entire school and seeing how that works with kids that don't know me as well, kids that are really coming in with a lot of trauma and harshness and pain and all of this stuff. And so using these tools in a wider way, with more kids, has been really it's been very satisfying, I think. Still hard, but really I'm enjoying it. And it's working. I think it works. One of the things that I love about this is the first time that I had to call a student down and they said, oh, you know, this girl did this to me or whatever, and I could go right away, hey, can I pull that girl down? Can we just have a conversation? And then I could get my questions. And I did it, and it worked. And by lunch they were like, hey, miss, we're friends again. You know, I mean, that was it. That's all it took. A 10-minute conversation or a 15-minute conversation that, at least for that day or for that week, healed a relationship. Yeah. And taught 2 girls, hey, this is another way. So not only does it add peace to my school, it actually teaches peace to children, right? And this is what we want, makes the world a better place. So the journey of using the tools that you gave us has been very satisfying. Yeah.
Thank you. So the last question is this: what would you say about the training? I'm sorry, my second last question. What would you say about the training that you both were in?
It's great. I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
the training was so effective because, we, in the training that you did with us, we were able to immediately apply
Yeah, that's
those
right.
lessons.
Mhm.
And it was in the very next day that we had students in class. We were able to practice what we were learning. And it really is, it's a practice. It's not something that you ever achieve or are finished doing. You're constantly practicing this skill of communicating with students, like even just using these cards and keeping it handy and being able to have those conversations and feeling confident. The training gave me the confidence to do this because it can be scary because there's an uncertainty to it. But the training gave us the confidence to try it, like give it a shot. At one of the trainings you had said, we're going to learn how to make these effective statements. And then I want you to, there was like a 3 or 4 week period between trainings. And so you said, take the next 4 weeks and utilize these effective statements in your classrooms, like make it a goal to use these in your classroom interactions every day. And then we did. And then we, at the next training, were able to report back and hear from others who had been doing the same thing, how powerful it was, how quickly, when you replace some positive comments, instead of correcting students all the time, you're providing them some props. Like, hey, man, thanks a lot for coming in like that today. That was great. It's good to see you. That what an impact, rather than, oh, nice of you to show up. What a difference in that student's immediate response to you as a person. Now you can start that class period, with that positive exchange. And it's so easy, but it's something that you have to be conscious of it and aware of it and practice it daily. And that's something the training was great in that way.
Yeah, I can't add any more to that. That was perfect. I just said great. He's much more eloquent.
No, I don't think so. I think you're spot on.
Danita, what would you say to those who are thinking about coming to the training?
I mean, there's really no reason not to. It does, and it actually doesn't. I mean, you can use it as a parent with your children. Like, I mean, it makes you a better human being. I feel like the training is not just about, a teacher or administrator in a school. I think these are skills that help you in life. So, I mean, there's really no reason not to do the training. It's only going to help you.
Is there any last words from either of you to those who are listening to this?
No, I mean, I think I don't want to, sounds like it's hard to overstate. It's really hard to overstate just how powerful a tool it is for transforming relationships in your school.
I actually do have one thing to say. A lot of people who hear the term restorative, it has developed this negative connotation, which means, oh, we just let kids get away with stuff, right? And that is people who need the training, because restorative is nothing like that. Restorative is high responsibility to your community, to yourself, to your school, as well as the support. So you have those two things together. And it is really, really important that people who think that get this training, because it's not that, it's not what people say it is.
No, and that's yeah, that's a really good point. And I think about the I think it's a behavior window, and you have the matrix, and talking about, you know, the students that are, you're doing things with the student, not to the student or for the student. And that's something that, you know, can come across, like Danita said, is, you know, some teachers have this automatic negative reaction because they believe that the way to correct student behavior is to punish them.
Strictly
You can
punitive.
punish them into submission, and then they'll do what you say, 100% compliance 100% of the time. And these teachers believe that that's what a good classroom looks like. Little do they know that their students are suffering, and that's the reason why they have such discipline problems in their classroom, because they've created, you know, this sort of, you know, prison camp mentality in their classroom. And so every teacher who thinks that way needs the training.
Ken and Danita, it's been a pleasure just talking to you and just hearing about your experience with restorative practices. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.